Good morning, Shanti. Adversity always seems to lead to growth, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. I wanted to ask you how to use the pandemic to learn lessons and to grow spiritually.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. It's a fantastic question, very practical question that is on the mind of everyone. For a spiritual practitioner, consider COVID-19 as blessing in disguise. First thing, it wakes us up. We get in the rut, we get brainwashed, we get into such a rut that we don't think, who am I, what am I doing, why I am doing. So that is first positive thing, it wakes us up. Other thing is, if you have awareness, you can see all the curses differently. You turn curses into blessing. So really it requires awareness to convert this curse of COVID-19 into blessings. What is awareness? I have explained two of the topic, mindfulness and awareness in transformation of consciousness. Mindfulness is observing without judgment. So mindfulness prepares one to be in the present, experiencing without judging or analyzing. Awareness also explained, I'm reading from this book about awareness. When intellect is purified by quieting the restlessness of the mind, it works with eye consciousness and becomes awareness. Awareness observes, focuses, experiences, analyzes, and draws the conclusion that transforms life. That says it all. So transformation is a little bit higher than mindfulness. Mindfulness is stagnant, awareness observes. So what awareness will do is to realize that pandemic is really blessing in disguise. First thing we realize that it is a creation of supreme consciousness. We cannot do anything about it. We learn the lesson in surrender. Supreme consciousness or Brahman is inert, not involved. But Prakriti or nature uses three forces of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas to create the universe, sustain the universe and dissolve the universe. This is the creation of Prakriti. It works with laws of karma and everything happens. So we have wrong idea that I will control everything, but like day and night, we cannot control. Seasons we cannot control. Same way, all the things happening at grand scale is the play of God. It's called divine play or lila. So when we accept it and come to the center, then we won't be touched by it, because we are part of supreme consciousness that observes everything. It witnesses everything without getting affected by it. So that is the lesson. Some of the basic lessons are taught by COVID-19, and one is called pratyahar. Pratyahar is the fifth step of Raja Yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, and Pratyahar. Pratyahar means sense withdrawal. Sense withdrawal means withdrawing from all the stimulus. So this pandemic has pushed people to stay at home, keep away from all the excitement of the world, and practice aloneness. So it gives fantastic opportunity for being alone with ourselves and do self introspection. So that is required thing before dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So pratyahara, controlling the senses, is a starting point for concentration, meditation, and total absorption. Other thing is three principles of Vedanta philosophy is viveka, vairagya, and mumuksha. I will explain. What is viveka? Vivek means spiritual discernment. Spiritual discernment means to see real from unreal, permanent from impermanent. The entire world, everything happening in the world is impermanent, and we get a vision to see. Basic teaching of Vedanta is to see the world as illusion or impermanent. Basic teaching of Buddha is also impermanence. That means something that is impermanent cannot give you lasting joy. So this we see by observing. By pandemic, we see, observe, somebody was healthy, becomes sick. Somebody you knew dies. All your job is lost. Everything is changing. Everything is impermanent. So when we learn the lesson, observe the impermanence, the lesson is learned, is vairagya or renunciation. We cultivate the wisdom that impermanent thing won't give me happiness. So we stop putting our energy on holding on. So earlier I said awareness. People don't have awareness. They would consider as a curse. I cannot do this, I cannot do this. All the complaints. But when you have awareness, you turn it into something positive. So the lesson we learn is vairagya or renunciation. Renunciation means finding peace within ourselves and don't rely on external situation to control our happiness. Control our happiness or suffering. We become self-reliant and all other things we use as temporary things. So we enjoy the world as is because it is not permanent. And my last book, Eternal Reality, explains that there are two realities. One reality is eternal reality. It doesn't change. It is there. It was there before we were born. It will stay there after we are gone. Before the beginning of the world and after the end of the world, Supreme Consciousness remains. And we are that. We are eternal. At the same time, for the time frame, because of Maya, we are staying in the relative reality, which is from birth to death. And we have to deal with it. At the same time, realize that ultimate reality is there. And that is the goal of life, that called mumuksha. Mumuksha means desire for liberation. So pandemic awakens us that life should not be wasted. Otherwise, this life will go by remaining asleep. Many more lives will go on unless we wake up. So it is a wake-up call. So it gives all the good things. It wakes us up. It brings awareness. It brings acceptance. It gives patience. It gives simplicity, because we have to simplify life. We don't have all the things we had before. We have to accept. We need to learn, because we have not learned acceptance. We cannot change certain things. Only thing we do is change whatever we can. This is the prayer of serenity. Dear Lord, grant me the strength to change the things I can, and serenity to accept things I cannot change, and wisdom to know the difference. Also, being confined to the home, we learn communication with family members. We get chance to have compassion for others. So these are all the positive things that can happen. Of course, there are negative things, but if you look at overall picture, you see these teachings, then you will realize that blessing in disguise, all the comforts that looks like happiness, it gives pleasure, is actually curse in disguise. And all the hardships that looks temporary suffering is blessing in disguise. Okay, so go ahead with any question.
I don't know. That was great. I don't really have any questions. Thank you, Shanti.
Yes. Okay.